County in Georgia. Those of you here in this red polygon, that is where we have the tornado warning. I'm joined with meteorologist Ryan Jones behind the scenes tracking this. I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick. Ryan, let's zoom in on this storm and then get a look at velocity and see where the rotation is within this storm and where we are seeing the possibility of a tornado. Right there, you see how the red and green start to come together. So this is where we would have that potential rotation. Looks like it's right there on the county line. Now this is also moving to the north, and so Ryan, if you wouldn't mind putting a track on this, it's moving at about 20 miles an hour. So you can see again here, this is where we have the polygon for the possible tornado. All of these cells in here are rotating. They have this cell here has the potential to rotate and put a tornado on the ground. On top of that, we have the risk for straight line winds of 60 miles an hour. That can cause damage itself. It can knock down trees and tree limbs, and it can make them go flying, and that could crash through your window as well. So that's why you'd want to be in an interior room, whether you're in a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning. And also these storms are producing hail. We actually had some hail reports out of the McClenny area. Okay, so here is a look at this cell, and this is going to continue to move off to the northeast. Now, Ryan, if you wouldn't mind, I believe the rotation is right in this area. Let's get a look at a track that starts here and moves off to the northeast so we can time out when that possible rotation would be moving in that direction. You can see places like St. George, you are included in this tornado warning. So those of you within this area, you all need to seek shelter. That includes Stokesville at 3:56, and that's right now. It's happening right now. Also St. George at 4:14 p.m., Toledo at 4:29 p.m. If that continues to move at that speed, it would eventually reach places like Traders Hill and Davis Field closer to 5 o'clock if it continues to hold and stay strong. So
are seeing some rotation entering the southern tip of Charlton County, which is what you're talking about, this storm that you see here over in the St. George area.
Perfect. If you wouldn't mind, let's zoom in. Let's see if we can find any streets, any potential residents there, and see who is under the bullseye of this tornado warning. So we're going to zoom on in and show you again. This is the area where we're seeing that possible rotation heading towards St. George. So those of you, again, as Ryan mentioned, it's southern Charlton County, and notice you're right up on top of Nassau County. We also have this yellow box here. These are severe thunderstorm warnings that also have the possibility of producing 60+ mile per hour winds. And Ryan, really quick, let's also take a look at the hail, because we've been seeing hail reports across our entire area. Yep, look at this. This is our hail tracker, and it shows the possibility of hail within these storms too. So we're going to zoom out and get a wide view of all the storms that we are tracking across the First Coast. And then after we get a big picture view, what we're going to do is we're going to leave ABC where the Pro Bowl is, and we're going to move directly over to NBC because this isn't over a super populated area. However, we're going to continue to stream on NBC and on YouTube, on Facebook, and all of our First Coast News streaming sites, First Coast News Plus. That also includes the website, the apps, all of that. So here's a big picture. Across the First Coast, we have more of these bands popping up. You see these thunderstorms here? These have the potential of becoming severe, and they're continuing to move towards the beaches. So you're up next, Duval, St. Johns, Clay counties. These are the ones we're watching for you. There's a cell right now that's moving towards Fruit Cove as well that has the potential of producing some hail. So Ryan, real quick, we'll just go back to the original picture where it shows the First Coast and the current warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. You can see that there's other tornado warnings here that have popped up on some of these cells. Here's this one. We'll zoom back in and just take another look at where it is hitting places like Nassau County. So this is heading towards St. George right now on the west side of Nassau County, and that will continue to move off to the north. So I'm going to step off screen really quick, but I'm going to keep showing you guys this. And we're going to just zoom in real quick and take a look at where this is heading as well. This has the potential of producing hail, strong straight line winds, as well as the potential for a tornado. So heads up to St. George, heads up to places like Hilliard too. But for right now, we're going to move over to just NBC and all of our streaming platforms. That's going to be Facebook, our website, firstcoastnews.com, the First Coast News app, as well as YouTube. And we will continue to watch this, but for now, we'll leave you on ABC. Okay. So for those of you still watching, I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick, and I am joined by meteorologist Ryan Jones in the background, who is tracking this closely and also keeping in contact with the National Weather Service. So right now we are on air for this tornado warning that is in effect for Charlton County, but also Nassau County and parts of Baker County. Ryan, I'm going to toss it over to you. Let me know what you are seeing.
All right, so we are watching this storm right here, as Lee was mentioning. Within this red polygon is where the tornado warning has been issued. Now, I just want to make sure everyone knows how long this will be in effect. We still have it until 4:15, I'm pretty sure, if you look back at what the National Weather Service is saying.
And sorry, really quick, Ryan, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just want to let our director Leroy know he is free to talk to me in my ear. Go ahead.
Perfect. So this is the cell that we're talking about.
Yes.
Over near St. George, and Lee was over tracking the velocity on this storm right here. And what we're looking for is when the green and the red are meeting, and we see some weakening within the rotation, but it's not as condensed as it was before, but we are still watching that southern tip. We're getting lots of reports from the National Weather Service of storm reports, damaging wind gusts that's causing a lot of this, and even hail. And Lee and I were talking about that just the last half hour ago. We were talking about how much hail these storms are seeing. Actually, with that being said, I should probably pull up that hail so you can see how much hail we are seeing within all of these storms. Most of us are seeing up to a 1/4 inch in hail right now at this moment, and we're getting live looks from the National Weather Service. They are seeing these severe storms starting to move into Clay County, so we are watching those with those severe thunderstorm warnings that are starting to go into effect. But right now, let's look at a big broad picture of what we've got going on, because not all of us are seeing this tornado warning, but all of us are seeing some storm that does have the potential to become severe. So you do not want to let your guard down. Although you may not be in a tornado warning at this point, we still want to make sure that we are weather aware, keeping yourself monitored on what's happening, because these storms do have the potential to become severe. And even with damaging wind gusts and hail, those are the biggest things that we're watching, along with the tornado threat that is going on at this moment. So we're going to switch back over to where our warnings are so that we can see what we've got going on. Again, this cell right here, this is going into 4:15. Until 4:15 is when we'll see this warning expire. And I'll move this watch above, this polygon, so you can see it on top of the storm, so you have a big overview of where we're seeing this. This is just the St. George region is where we're seeing this, and let me move this up closer so you're able to get a broad picture of where this storm is. So anywhere west of Callahan and Ratliff, even though this storm does not have you within the polygon at this point, still want to make sure you are watching this, taking this just as seriously as anyone within the polygon over in St. George. This storm is moving north at 30 miles per hour, and let me just check on the timing of this storm right now. So
yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. Great.
Back on there. So
yeah, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead. You can put the track back on there for the speed that it's heading off to the north. So again, we have this potential rotation down here. It is in South Charlton, and it will continue to move to the northeast. So those of you in far western Nassau County, that's what we will be watching for, the potential of this to move into your neck of the woods. There's an updated radar scan as well. And again, it's continuing to move to the north and to the northeast at about 30 miles an hour, I believe, is what Ryan said. I'm
going to take a really quick zoom in of this, Lee, one more time, just so we can get a...
Yeah, and I'll step off the screen so you can see this live look. This is in Nassau County, the live look that you're seeing on your screen here. So this is west of Yulee that you're looking at in Nassau County. You can see the gray skies there, traffic flowing, but what we have to watch is for these storms to move over our roads. We saw that earlier, a tornado warned cell had moved over I-10 east of Lake City earlier. So that's our biggest concern. You really don't want to be caught on the road within these storms. And these are continuing to pop up all across the First Coast. So if you're looking outside right now and you're dry, places like Yulee, maybe you're seeing some drier skies, although it's cloudy, you're not out of the woods because you can see the big picture there. Look at that. All of those cells that are popping up. Just jump on the screen really quick to show you. Here's one that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it. This one, this one, this one. All of these up here, all of these have the potential of becoming severe and potentially spinning a tornado. So Ryan, actually, let's go look at that severe thunderstorm warning that looks like it's in Duval County. Let's get a look on that one too, because that will affect a lot of our people as well, a lot of our viewers. So again, we are on the air for the tornado warning, but this one right here, this is also a severe thunderstorm warning right near Oakleaf. Let's zoom in. Let's get some more towns on the map to see where this storm is moving in. And most of these severe thunderstorm warnings have been popping up for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, as well as pea-sized hail, if not larger. And we have had reports of hail already across portions of the First Coast. Baldwin, you're right on the side of this. Oakleaf, you are also on the other side, on the eastern side of this severe thunderstorm warning, but you can see that direction that it's heading. So it is passing places like Fleming Island and Orange Park, but it will continue to move across portions of Duval County as well.
And now, Lee, if you wanted to look also, they're reporting quarter-size hail now.
Quarter-size hail.
Within that severe thunderstorm warning that you were just mentioning.
Awesome. How about we, well, not awesome, no, really bad, but thank you for that report. That's a good report. And yes, you read my mind. Perfect. Let's pull back up the hail tracker. Look at that out towards McClenny. So again, we got a lot of reports of hail in the McClenny area. And our radar, our hail tracker, is picking up on those hail reports as well and seeing the possibility of hail within these cells. Now, Ryan, would you mind just showing me radar? Because sometimes you can see where there might be a hail core within radar itself, if it's the sweeping radar that we look at. So not composite, but more of a closer look just at the radar that's located in Jacksonville. And you see here how you get a little bit of a clearer image of these. And so where we have the darker colors start to pop up, that usually can also be a sign of hail within these thunderstorms. So there's the hail within that one. Now let's bounce back to the tornado warning, since that's what we are on air for. Again, we are on air right now for a tornado warning that's in Nassau, Charlton, and Baker counties. This goes until 4:15 p.m. Right there, you can see this warning in red, that box there, moving over St. George. Let's zoom on in. Look at that. That's what I'm watching. That's where that rotation would be. It looks like it's heading directly for the St. George area. So if we could get a look at velocity, Ryan, that would be great. We can see where we are seeing rotation. So yeah, right around this area, that's where we're seeing rotation just south of St. George. And this is moving to the north and northeast. Looks like another little pocket perhaps of some strong wind or maybe some rotation there too. So all of these cells again have the potential of rotating. If you saw sunshine earlier today, that's actually not a good thing, because when we see the sun, it means it's adding more fuel, it's adding instability to the atmosphere, and that means that a thunderstorm has more of a possibility of becoming severe, of spinning. So this is where we are seeing that rotation. Ryan, do you have any new word from the National Weather Service?
We're just seeing a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings pop up, Lee. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts is the main thing that they're concerned about. We're seeing quarter size and hail now, and that's really about it. Not getting many reports as of now, any new reports, but the severe thunderstorm warnings are the things that we're worried about at this point.
Okay, so yes, that's why in these severe thunderstorm warnings, winds of 60+ miles an hour, that can knock down tree limbs, that can make trampolines go flying, that can cause power outages. So just a friendly reminder to everyone who is watching right now who might not be seeing any sort of rain, keep your devices charging, because you can always stream our coverage if you happen to lose power, if you lose your TV.
And just wanted to remind everyone that tornado warning that we are watching goes in it expires at 4:15, so we have just less than 7 minutes going on, or less than 6 minutes now until we see that tornado warning expire. But let's just broaden our view back out. See this tornado warning that we were mentioning. Lee was watching that velocity within that storm, because we saw some strong winds that were starting to converge against each other, which is what we want to see if we are trying to diagnose whether a tornado is in the area or not. It's just south of St. George again that we're watching this big tornado over in the polygon, in this red polygon area. So also that hail core, just want to mention that again. When we see those purples on our radar, that lets us know that there's a possibility that storm is not only strengthening, but it's developing a hail core within it. And so that's when we can see when we can see those hail sizes that the National Weather Service was mentioning, just around a quarter size of an inch. Still things that can do damage to your car. So want to make sure everyone is aware of that. Again, we have 5 more minutes before this tornado warning does expire. I'm not seeing anything right now with the National Weather Service saying anything that they're going to extend this tornado warning. Did you see anything, Lee?
No, I did not yet. So we will keep watching this one cell here, but also these severe thunderstorm warnings to the south heading towards Duval County that could produce larger sized hail, perhaps up to an inch. So yeah, let's get another look at these 2 cells. I don't like the looks of these. We're going to zoom in here. And Ryan, if you wouldn't mind, when you have a moment, I know you're doing a bunch of behind the scenes tracking for me and I appreciate you so much. Would you let me know how long these severe thunderstorms warning go until? So while she looks at that, I'm just going to point out both of these cells here because both of these have the possibility of producing hail and some larger hail at that. So these are moving off to the northeast. Notice how they are moving into places like Duval County. So from Lottie to Middleburg, Oakleaf to Baldwin, all of you included just on the fringe of these severe thunderstorm warnings. These as well, though, have the potential to rotate. So it's something that we will watch closely. And we'll also just keep an eye on velocity for these 2 as well, just to see if we can see some rotation. But right now, the main concern with both of these cells, strong winds, perhaps up to around 60 miles an hour, and hail, and that can cause damage too. So if you are in the severe thunderstorm warning, you are encouraged to treat it like a tornado warning where you go into an interior room, because if you think about it, 60-mile-per-hour winds that can pick up outdoor objects and make them go flying. And that can mean that they go flying through your window, and you don't want to be near windows in a severe thunderstorm warning. And that is a tornado warning. All right, so there is our tornado warning now for Oakleaf moving into to the east of Baldwin. I'm going to step off screen really quick because we are going to pull our ABC viewers back into coverage now. If Carolina and Leroy, my amazing producer and director upstairs, wouldn't mind pulling in now our ABC coverage, because this is a tornado warning that includes Clay and Duval counties. Yes. Alrighty, so we are now cutting in back into our ABC programming as well. We have had this on NBC and all of our streaming platforms, but we're back on ABC now because there's a new tornado warning. Look at that, 2 tornado warnings. This includes Clay and Duval, and we now have 3 tornado warnings for our area. I'm going to step off the screen really quick just to go through these with you, and we're talking to the National Weather Service constantly about what we have. So this tornado warning for Bradford, Clay, and Duval. This one goes until 5 o'clock for Bradford, Clay, and Duval counties. That would be that southern county, the southern tornado warning. Then there's a second tornado warning to the north for Clay and Duval, and that goes until 4:45 p.m. That is for rotation over the farther north for Clay and Duval until 4:45 p.m. That one is moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. The other one to its south is moving northeast at 20 miles an hour. And last but not least, we have another tornado warning as well for portions of, let's see, this was for places like Baker, Nassau, and Charlton counties. That was the first one that we got on air for. These are all getting mixed up with many severe thunderstorm warnings as well, which can also produce damage. But for right now, we are on air for tornado warnings that include Duval County and Clay counties. So let's zoom in. I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick. I am joined behind the scenes with meteorologist Ryan Jones, and we have 3 tornado warnings in our area. Let's start with this tornado warning here, Ryan, the one on the northern side heading through places like Duval County right now. We have the possibility of hail, of straight line winds up to 60 miles an hour, and of rotation. Let's take a look at velocity and see where that rotation is. Right in this area. That's where we're seeing rotation. So this will be moving off to the north and northeast. And Ryan, would you mind putting a track on this one? This is moving at 25 miles an hour. So we're going to put a track to see how soon it could arrive to your neighborhood. Again, multiple tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings in our area. But we're going to do a track across this cell here because it's moving at 25 miles an hour, heading through some neighborhoods within the First Coast. Again, we've seen all of these cells potentially spinning and potentially forming tornado warnings. This is all across the First Coast. So heads up to places like St. Johns County where you haven't seen anything yet. Unfortunately, we'll have to watch for some individual cells to move near you too. So places like Otis, 4:24 p.m., White House at 4:28 p.m., and Camden at 4:36 p.m. So that's the direction this is going, to places like White House. It's heading in your direction. But notice how the tornado warning extends off to the east of just the track we drew. So that means all of you here off to the east, Chaffee Trail Elementary School, you are not in the clear either. Everyone here in this tornado warning, you need to be in your safe place. All right, that's one of the tornado warnings. Let's go south now and take a look at this tornado warning right to its south, unfortunately following this cell. So once this one clears, you likely still have to stay in your safe spot because another one is coming up behind it. Here's the next cell. We'll put a track on this one as well, moving to the northeast at 20 miles an hour. This one is including places like Middleburg. Right now, that's where that tornado warning includes. This one likely also producing some hail. It also has the potential to produce straight line winds. All of these individual cells are moving to the northeast. So those of you, we have to watch the cells behind it to continue to move towards your direction for those of you out towards the beaches and towards the coast. So right now, Ryan Jones, meteorologist Ryan Jones, is putting a track on this for us. And this is going to continue to move towards Freedom Church by 4:30 p.m. So again, this will continue to move all the way towards Oakleaf. So Oakleaf, while you are technically not in this first tornado warning, this one behind you, you're not in either of the tornado warnings, but this is the cell you need to watch because look how this is coming up behind you. Now, the good news right now for those of you Fleming Island, looks like it's going to be you're to the east of this. It looks like it will stay to your west. It gets a little too close for comfort for the Orange Park area. I'm just going to keep an eye on Orange Park. So if you're in that area, stay with us as we continue to watch this. Now, Ryan, if you wouldn't mind just moving the map north just slightly. Again, we're watching two tornado warnings, two of these cells. So this is going to continue to move off to the northeast. Now we also have a third tornado warning as well. Let's go to that third warning, the one we jumped on for originally in Charlton, and it was also scraping portions of Nassau County.
So it has just expired at 4:15. So it just expired 2 minutes ago.
That is fantastic news. Love to hear that. So now, good news, we're only on for two tornado warnings, but bad news is two tornado warnings at the same time, one cell following another. So this is going to be for places like Duval County here that we're going to continue to watch closely. Now, the northern cell that we're watching looks like it's going to head to the northwest, stay on the west side of downtown Jacksonville, stay to the west of Riverside, but Murray Hill, you're included in that. Avondale, you're right on the side of that tornado warning. Same for places like Hyde Park over towards North Oak Hill. Oak Hill Park, you are all on the edge of this tornado warning, so you should get in your safe spot just to be careful. Now again, places like White House. So the bulk of this storm, if we zoom on in and just take a look at the first storm that we're looking at here, it's right over New World Avenue, and it looks like it's heading over towards a place called Caleb, Crystal Springs Road. A lot of you know this, right south of White House. Old Plank Road, you would be in the path of that. So this is heading towards the White House area, likely staying to the west of the downtown Jacks to Riverside area, but we'll make sure it doesn't move further east and get closer to places like Avondale and Murray Hill, Normandy as well. So all of you are not in the clear. Then for the cell further south, let's move further south and look at this cell here. This one looks like it's going to be moving over places like County Road 218. It's getting close to John Cemetery Road as well. And that unfortunately is continuing to move north and follow up behind that next one. Oakleaf Plantation Parkway, you are showing up on the map as a place that this could be moving over. Also, it will be near some of these roads like Winding Mare Boulevard. You are also showing up on the map for these projected tornado warnings. So this is moving to the northeast. Both of these are. Let's get a full picture look here, if you wouldn't mind, Ryan. Big picture at what's happening. We can keep the sweeping radar on, if you wouldn't mind. I just want to show where each of these individualized cells are. Those of you in the Folkestone area, look at this, a strong storm heading towards you. Look at all of that lightning there. So those of you up into Georgia, you're getting this sweeping line of storms. It's up towards Waycross. Brunswick, that steady rain moved out that we saw all along the coast, places like, well, where the Donna Marathon was today, Jack's Beach, Atlantic Beach, you had that steady rain by the end of the marathon. Now that moved out, but we're not out of the clear because we have these individual cells starting to pop up. So look at this. Ryan just highlighted this one area, this box here. That's a strengthening cell that we had a tornado warning on earlier. It has 31 lightning strikes in it. That's just a sign of strength within that storm. Lake City, another storm moving through your area. It's really this line here, though, that I'm concerned about, as you can tell with the tornado warnings on this, because as they move to the northeast, they're hitting some areas that are a bit unstable. We had a break in the clouds. We had a little bit more sunshine, and that's not a good thing on days like today with these strong storms, because sunshine means more fuel for strong storms. It means instability, and it means that we can get some severe thunderstorms, perhaps some tornado warnings out of that. And right now, unfortunately, we have 2 cells that we are tracking with the potential for rotation. Let's zoom back in, and Ryan, I want to get a really close look again at each of these. We'll start with the one to the north.
Okay.
Zoom really far in and take a look at velocity, and we can point out the roads where the spinning is over and where it's going next. We're going to give you a neighborhood by neighborhood look. So here's where we're watching some the potential for rotation. Caleb, you're pulling up on the map. So that's New World Avenue. And then we continue to watch this towards Herlong Road as well. And this will continue to move to the north. So if we just pan north just a little bit, Crystal Springs Road, that's heading into White House. That's I-10. We've said this with a lot of the tornado warnings, unfortunately. If you know anyone driving along I-10 right now, call them, see where they are, make them pull over before this storm moves overhead. It's a terrible idea to be on an interstate when a potential tornado is moving overhead. Not only do you have to worry about the tornado, but the blinding rain, the hail. It's something you do not want to be on an interstate for. So this will head towards Normandy. Now you're going to be on the eastern side of that, but we'll still watch to see if it heads towards you. It's more places like White House that we are worried about. Old Plank Road, you would be in the path of that. Okay, so then we have the tornado warning to the south of that too, following up behind this first cell that we were looking at. And Ryan, if you wouldn't mind, if it's not too much to ask, if we could pull up the boxes, the warning boxes
Yes.
on top of this too. So you can all see here that this is what we are getting a look at when it comes to where we have the potential warnings and who needs to be in their safe spot. So we're going to zoom in a little bit closer to the west side of Middleburg now. And in the Middleburg area, we've been watching this strong storm too. So here we have the darker colors. That is a sign of potential hail, a bit of rotation possible in this storm too. So notice how it's now butting up against that other tornado warning. So unfortunately, this one is following the first one heading through Duval County. Ryan, do we have any updates right now from the National Weather Service?
A lot of the updates that we're seeing at this point are just storm reports, a lot of wind damage and also hail damage that we're seeing at this point. If we look at what we are seeing, another tornado warning just came up on the National Weather Service chat that we are following and monitoring closely. They're giving us updates just minute by minute, the things that are going on outside, and a lot of us are experiencing. We are taking a live look out. I'm not sure exactly what this road is. Lee, do you? I-10 in Jacksonville, we just got some reports over from our producer, and so you can see how strong these storms are about to make their impact as they're moving towards the east as we go further into the evening. And we're really worried about these storms getting into some untapped atmosphere, especially towards the south as we get towards places like St. Augustine that haven't seen a lot of these storms move through earlier in the day. So when we're watching these, when they get into these areas that are very moist, as we have this system coming through, well, that's when they can start to strengthen. We even see in that southern cell that Lee was talking about over towards Middleburg, west of Middleburg, it's developing a hail core, which is why the National Weather Service is giving us reports of these hail just around 3/4 of an inch actually right now that they have just given us. And so we're watching these storms closely. We saw the polygon. I'm not sure if you saw that, Lee, but the polygon for the Middleburg cell just west of it has shrinking just a little bit. It's moved further towards the north, and that's probably because we're getting updated radar scans as we go through the next couple of minutes. So just want to zoom back in on the northern cell, just because we just got done talking about that Middleburg cell. You can see that it's slowly starting to weaken just a bit, but we still are monitoring it closely. We have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings that are still in effect. So even if you are not in these tornado polygons, which are the red polygons that we have highlighted here, if you're in that yellow polygon, you should also be monitoring and on guard just as much as we're talking about the people that are in that tornado warning.
Absolutely. And you were talking about some storm reports. Let's pull up the storm reports and see what we have had reported so far. We've seen reports of hail. Just want to make sure we don't have too much damage as well. So here's a look at the reports we've had so far. Looks like it's a lot of hail reports out here, including down towards Keystone Heights too. So that's the bulk of this. However, we are getting some reports of maybe seeing some funnel clouds on a funnel cloud from National Weather Service. So we'll keep a close eye on that too. But yes, you can see here, Ryan's clicking through some of these reports showing us the hail that popped up. So Homerville, you saw in Clinch County, there was a tree and power line down. So that's where they had a tornado warning earlier. So it looks like they have damage in the area where they had a tornado warning. That was Clinch County, Georgia, which is right outside our area. All right, so we'll bring it back to radar now and another look at these two tornado warnings that are moving through Clay and Duval counties. So Clay and Duval, you are the two counties that are under these tornado warnings. This one to the south, look at that. You see the purple there? So this one looks like the stronger of the two cells as of right now. So we'll start with this southern cell and we'll get another look at velocity on this cell here, because this looks like it's the stronger of them, and that's what we had the update on the polygon that was redrawn. So this is to the west of Middleburg and it's moving off to the north. So it does look like it's going to stay west of Fleming Island and Orange Park. That's the good news. We'll go back to radar now with our warnings, just to keep an eye on the big picture. But yes, I don't like the look of that, because besides the possibility of a tornado in that, we do have the possibility of hail and straight line winds, damaging straight line winds. Then to the tornado, to the possible tornado, the tornado warning to the north over Duval County, right now crossing over I-10, unfortunately. So it looks like there's a lot of heavy rain associated with this storm here. With this is blinding rain for I-10. And at times we've seen lightning, strong wind gusts, and yes, even some rotation associated with this cell as it continues to move to the north and to the northeast. So heads up to places like Nassau County, you would be next within this cell. Do we have lightning turned on, Ryan?
I can get it turned on just looking at this. Let me turn that on.
And sometimes we like to look at lightning here because it also shows which cells are stronger than others. Sometimes that lightning can be a sign of some stronger storms. So it's good that we don't have lightning popping up in this. Hopefully this continues to weaken. That is what we need it to do. But still, right now, we have that tornado warning still in effect. We're also watching this up to the north and northwest. St. George, that heavy rain, likely getting some hail there with that severe thunderstorm warning. This extends into the Hilliard area. Those of you in Hilliard getting pounded with some rain, the lightning staying to the west of that. But again, heavy rain, strong winds, perhaps up to 60 miles an hour, and perhaps some hail too. That is why you are under the severe thunderstorm warning. And then if we move to the west as well, you can see even some more severe thunderstorm warnings. So let's just zoom out just a little bit and get a bigger picture. So there's another severe thunderstorm warning off to the west. Folkston, you're getting in on that lightning and that heavy rain. Let's see what's happening in our northern Georgia counties across the area. Brunswick, you're about to get hit with a few little showers here. Nothing concerning looking there right now. Waycross, you have the heavy rain and the frequent lightning. Look at this line that extends from Waycross down to Folkston, down to southern Charlton County and western Nassau County. Places like Fernandina Beach, east side of Nassau County. We were taking a look at a road west of Yulee. Looks like just some steady rain moving through your area now. Ryan, did we just lose that tornado warning? That would be great if we did.
Yes.
Okay, let's go south. Let's take a look here. Okay, we still have one tornado warning in effect. I'm going to step off the screen But the good news is that Duval County warning looks like it just expired. Yeah, it was canceled. So that is the good news. Though we were looking at how it was weakening. Remember how we pointed out how there wasn't lightning in that? We didn't see the darker colors on reflectivity. So that is good news. The Duval County tornado warning has been expired. Now we still do have another tornado warning though that we're going to continue to watch just to the south though. Let's see where this, let's take a look at this one here. So this is the Middleburg one. This is going to continue to move to the northeast. So this is a tornado warning that still remains in effect until 5 o'clock, and it does clip parts of Duval here. So it's mostly over northwestern Clay County, but it's also over parts of southwestern Duval County. You can see that there, how we have zoomed in, and you can see where it just clips some parts of that. So right now, this cell that still is showing some signs of rotation and still has that warning on it until 5 o'clock, so for another half hour. It is continuing to move to the northeast. Right now, it just crossed over County Road 218. It will head towards Oakleaf Plantation Parkway, Merchants Way, and off to the northeast. So it's moving back towards Duval County. So those of you in Duval County, unfortunately, you can't let your guard down because we are not done with this next cell moving back into your area. So
and we are seeing that hail core starting to become more developed within that storm, Lee. And see, as you see those purples that we want to see, if we are trying to see if there is a hail core that's forming, even some lightning that wasn't there before. It's not a lot of lightning, but it is more lightning than we saw just about 15 minutes ago. So we're seeing the storm strengthen, which is why it still has that tornado warning in effect on it. And if the National Weather Service sees that it's starting to weaken, like we saw that northern cell over towards Clay County, well, then they will cancel that tornado warning. But for right now, we still have that tornado warning in effect for Duval and Clay until 5 p.m. today.
Yes, unfortunately, it's moving northeast towards Cecil Field area, and it has the potential of spinning up a tornado or even producing hail 1 inch in diameter. So this is still a severe thunderstorm that is rotating. Let's get a quick look at velocity. Let's see what we can see within this cell here. So again, this is over Clay, but it's clipping portions of Duval County. There's the rotation. And so it still is spinning a bit. It's still showing signs of strength, as Ryan pointed out, with the lightning and with the darker colors when it comes to reflectivity. And so this is going to continue to move off to the northeast. Ryan, let's put a track on this again, a closer one, just to get a look at each of these potential towns, neighborhoods that it will pass over, because again, this is still rotating and still a severe thunderstorm that is moving off to the northeast. You can see near Oakleaf there, so it will continue to move in this direction, and this goes until 5 o'clock. So over Clay County, but moving towards Duval in a northeasterly direction. So that has it at Avicenna Urgent Care Clinic at 5:01 p.m.
And I'm going to zoom this out just a bit for you, Lee, so you can get a wide view of.
That's a great idea, because then we could hit towns too that it might potentially move into if this tornado warning happens to get extended. We like to give all of you a heads up if it's moving in your direction. Not saying you have to get to your safe spot right now just yet, but to get you thinking about, okay, do I have my phone with me to stream coverage in my safe place? Do I have sturdy shoes on just in case? All of these things that are good to remember when there is a tornado moving your way to have in your safe spot. Batteries, a flashlight, sometimes a whistle just in case if you need to alert people for help, and a charger for your phones, and sturdy shoes. Goodness forbid that there's some damage to your home and you need to step over nails. So just some of the things to think about to have in your safe spot ready to go on days like today when we could potentially get these spin ups. So again, this is a tornado warning that's over Clay County heading into Duval County. So it could be at Brandon Field Mitigation Park Wildlife and Environmental Area at 4:50 p.m. Time right now is 4:34, just moved into 4:34. So this is going to, again, head in that direction. So
and I'm getting reports in the National Weather Service chat. Sorry to cut you off,
No,
Lee.
no, please go ahead.
They're saying that they're seeing this storm that Lee is talking about within the tornado warning starting to further intensify. We're seeing some golf ball size hail now, and it's starting to intensify as it's moving towards the north. And we have another severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued also.
Oh, okay, bad news. So we don't like to hear that, of course. course, we don't like to hear any of that. So potentially golf ball size hail, that can cause damage to your cars. Hey, if this cell has not moved in your direction yet, or excuse me, has not moved over you, and you have a little bit of time up here in Duval County, and you have a garage that you could move your car into, that would be a good idea, because this is producing some large hail. And yeah, look at that. That's likely some hail right in there being produced within this cell. And again, it's also rotating perhaps a tornado also within this cell here, moving to the north and to the northeast. So anyone up in this area, 228 and off to the east a little bit too, just keep an eye on this cell here as it moves in this direction, because again, it could produce hail as well as a tornado, as well as straight line winds.
Did you want to look at that hail, Lee? See maybe if we could see something on our hail tracker?
Absolutely.
Also?
Let's do it.
Oh,
Woo.
yep.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, so this is our hail tracker, and it is showing hail here, this core. So this is likely showing the path of that storm as it moved north, likely dropping hail here. Now, if you were in the clear, if it moved past you and you can safely now go outside and take some pictures, please send it to us. You can email it to us. You can post it on FCN Plus. You can send it to the Weather Watchers Facebook page, but please send us any of your damage reports, hail reports, after the storm has moved through. Please do not go outside in these storms, because they are becoming severe and potentially spinning as well, and it's happening fast with these isolated storms. When they move over this environment that we have that's a bit unstable and it has the possibility of rapidly strengthening these storms, it happens in the blink of an eye, and it's hard to give an extended heads up. So please send your reports once it has moved past, but please don't go outside in the middle of a storm. All right, we'll go back to a big picture here. Let's see what's happening all across the First Coast, because right now we are on air for a tornado warning in Clay and Duval counties. So we are on air on our NBC and ABC channels. And I know a lot of people are watching the Pro Bowl, and also you are watching the Olympic trials on NBC, Pro Bowl on ABC. So, woo, look at that. This is facing... So this is a camera on the south side, and it's facing west, and you can see these big storms moving through, and look at that sunshine. That's what we don't like to see, because again, that is what creates the instability and creates the possibility of these storms to become severe once they move into your area. Look at all of these cells here that are popping up behind it. All of these have the potential of moving in. So even places like St. Johns County, you haven't seen a severe storm yet, but one could move into your area. Duval County, we're still watching for that potential tornadic cell to move onto the south side of Duval County. They're slowly about to cross over the county border, and it will continue to move north in that direction. So you're looking at the big picture. Look at all of the cells out there. And a lot of these also severe thunderstorms. So it's this whole line here that has the ability of producing severe weather, whether it be in the form of hail, tornadoes, or straight line winds. Ryan, do you have something to add?
Yes, looking over, you were just talking about hail. They're starting to get $half size hail over in this cell that Lee was just pointing out over in that tornadic cell that they have. That's west of Middleburg at this point. It's moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. So the severe thunderstorm right now, where is it located? It's located over Cecil Field. And we're getting all this information from the National Weather Service. They are updating us just minute by minute as things are happening, and we're making sure we're monitoring this chat closely. So just to make sure you're aware, severe thunderstorm warning. We do have a tornado warning that is in effect, and that goes until 5 o'clock. So we have just less than half an hour to go. But for the severe thunderstorm warning, that's also for Clay, Duval, and Nassau County, this goes until 5:15. So it's just extended 15 minutes past that tornado warning, and we're seeing 60 mile per hour damaging wind gusts, and even, like I said before, $half size hail. We've gotten multiple videos within this chat of the damaging wind reports that we're seeing, and even over in we have some videos over near Clinch County. That's where a lot of that wind damage that we were mentioning earlier, that's where they're from. So we're seeing lots of video. We're being updated just minute by minute again, and we're watching the big picture of this, because this is a messy system that is just making its way through the first coast, and we're monitoring you as best as we can, making sure that we're keeping you updated. And this system should be moved out by tonight. That is what we are hoping, or it should be less severe. But these storms right now, they're getting into areas of just untapped atmosphere. And what we mean by that, it has moisture that it can feed off of, and these storms can generate, like we see over west of Green Cove, that tornadic cell. So we are monitoring these, but at this point, most of us just have severe thunderstorm warnings, and then we have this one cell down to the south that tornado warning that will expire at 5 o'clock today.
Yeah, you can see that cell that's moving quickly. So it is moving into Duval County. So what they're going to have to do, and it looks like, okay, this is good news. So they have issued a severe thunderstorm warning to the north of that. So Ryan, if you wouldn't mind still watching NWS chat, we'll see if they are just waiting for the 5 o'clock to expire. But once this cell actually moves into this area, it looks like they did not extend the tornado warning and instead just put a severe thunderstorm warning up for this. But it's something we'll watch closely, and we're still going to stay on the air until we get confirmation. Because right now, if we zoom into this, let's pause it, get a look at where it is right now, and zoom in. You can see it's just about to move over the border into Duval County. So it's in Clay County, moving into Duval County. And on top of the tornado warning, the National Weather Service has put out a severe thunderstorm warning that includes Duval and even goes up into Nassau County. So those of you in Nassau County, and Ryan, I'm sorry to bring you all over the map, but if you wouldn't mind moving north, let's just see where it clips in Nassau County, just for those of you to keep an eye on where this is going. All right, it looks like, there we go. So that's actually the only portion of Nassau County right now that it includes. But it's a heads up to those, even, again, Riverside, Avondale, over towards the downtown area. They did include you in the severe thunderstorm warning. So this is going to move to the north. Just keep a heads up that they're watching this cell. They included you in that potential for damaging wind gusts and for hail. Again, this tornado warning that we're on air goes until 5 o'clock, but this is going to continue to move to the northeast. This is for winds of 60 miles an hour and hail that's 1¼ inches in diameter. That is large hail. So if you are in this severe thunderstorm warning here that's over Duval County, I would suggest you move your car into a garage if you can, or anything breakable, potted plants, so you can move them under something just to keep them on the safe side of things. Because again, this is a tornado warning, and we had a tornado warning, unfortunately, a bit earlier for this same area. And I've seen some reports of some funnel clouds that have been seen from that. So we're going to wait to try to confirm if we can get a confirmation of those funnel clouds. You can't trust social media, folks. So we're going to wait to get an official report on that. But again, that's why we are on air right now. I know a lot of you want to be watching the Pro Bowl. I do too. And also the NBC showing the Olympic trials. So we're going to stay on until we get this tornado warning down, and then we will jump back to programming for you all. But right now we're getting so many reports of hail and of strong damaging winds as well. So these are severe storms that are in the area. And I do hope that they just go ahead, and if they're not going to extend this warning, then they cancel the warning once it moves out of that area, because already you see the cell here moving into Duval County, and it will continue to cross over the western side. Unfortunately, the same place where we just had that other tornado warning for those of you in Duval County on the west side here. So look at this. This has lightning. It has the purple popping up here in the middle of this. Not only is that heavy rain, but it's likely some form of hail too, and it is rotating. So this cell has really held on as it continues to move off to the northeast. My friends over in Mayport, you're getting a little bit of a downpour right now too. Let's go big picture, Ryan. Let's cover all of the First Coast, because we have all of our First Coast viewers watching across the area. And you can see all of these individual cells popping up near Stark. Look at this. This extends up into Waycross, Folkston, all of you getting that heavy rain and that frequent lightning. Brunswick getting some rain. Ryan, let's zoom into the Folkston Waycross area up in Georgia. Let's get a closer look at that rain and that lightning, because a lot of you there too, yep, you get those severe thunderstorm warnings. So that's for winds of 60 miles an hour and for hail in your area. Heavy rain, frequent lightning, and the possibility of damaging straight line winds, damaging wind gusts as well. And this will continue to extend to the north. So notice it goes up towards the Waycross area. And then along the coast, it's just these isolated little cells from Fernandina through places like St. Mary's, and that will continue up to the north as well. But it's this line here that's moving to the northeast, so those cells to the south, that's what coastal areas will have to watch out for. Zooming back down to that tornado warning. And again, we're still staying in constant contact with the National Weather Service, keeping a close eye on these cells, on all of these severe thunderstorm warnings and these tornado warnings. So this tornado warning over Clay County clips portions of Duval County. Look at that cell now moving into Duval County. This goes until 5 o'clock this evening. So this is to the west of Oakleaf. This is going to continue to move to the northeast. So let's zoom out a little bit here, Ryan, and maybe let's put another track on it, just because, again, those of you here now in the Riverside towards downtown area, Avondale, you are included in this severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, tornado warning canceled. Ryan, do we have anything from the National Weather Service that they're going to reissue the tornado warning, or are we good to jump off the air and send everyone back to programming?
We just got confirmation from the National Weather Service. They're canceling the tornado warning. No need for extension at this moment.
Amazing. Okay, that is great news. We're still going to watch this cell very closely. Remember, hail and damaging wind associated with that, along with all the cells across the First Coast. But for now, I am happy to send you back to programming. We will be back on air if we do get another tornado warning.
Stay with the First Coast's most accurate weather team. Stay safe and informed. Download the First Coast News app now. First Coast News, on your side.